In the last chapter 17, you have studied that hemoglobin is present inside RBC, which is responsible for transport of oxygen, and this oxygen is utilized by the tissues for the production of energy. Muscle cells, they contain special dark red colored pigment known as myoglobin. The myoglobin content is very high in some of the muscles, which give them reddish appearance. Such muscles which have abundant amount of myoglobin are known as red muscle fibers. These red muscle fibers, they have abundant mitochondria. These large amount of mitochondria, they utilize large amount of oxygen provided by the myoglobin to produce large amount of energy in the form of ATP, and this energy is utilized for the contraction of muscles. So that's why these muscles are also known as aerobic muscles. What they are known as? They are also known as aerobic muscles because they show aerobic respiration. Whereas the muscles which have very less quantity of myoglobin are known as white muscle fibers because red color is provided to the muscles by the amount of myoglobin. More the myoglobin, more will be the red color. Less myoglobin, the muscles will appear pale or whitish. So that's why the muscle fibers which have less amount of myoglobin are known as white muscle fibers. In these muscle fibers, mitochondria number is very less. They have very small amount of mitochondria, and the sarcoplasmic reticulum content is very high. It means they undergo fast contraction. And these muscle fibers, because they have less myoglobin, so less oxygen is available for the production of energy. So these muscles, for contraction, they undergo anaerobic respiration. And when these muscles undergo anaerobic respiration, they produce a byproduct known as lactic acid. In your class 10th, you have studied about anaerobic respiration in muscles, and anaerobic respiration in muscle, it produces lactic acid, and this lactic acid, it gets stored in the muscle and it causes pain and fatigue in the muscles. When the person take rest, this lactic acid is converted into simpler form and muscles return to their original state. Okay, so now let's study the difference between the red muscle fibers and white muscle fibers. Red muscle fibers are thin as compared to the white muscle fibers. Red muscle fibers, they have large amount of mitochondria as compared to white muscle fibers. They have less sarcoplasmic reticulum as compared to white muscle fibers. It means that these muscles, red muscle fibers, they undergo slow contraction. Why they undergo slow contraction? Because they have less amount of calcium ion. Less sarcoplasmic reticulum means they have less amount of calcium ion and the contraction will be slow. Whereas white muscle fibers, they have large amount of sarcoplasmic reticulum and it means large calcium ion which result in fast contraction. The main point is that the red muscle fiber, they have abundant myoglobin as compared to white muscle fiber. Next is myoglobin. It is a storehouse of oxygen, so it produces large amount of oxygen during the contraction of muscle. Whereas white muscle fibers, they have little or no oxygen. That's why red muscle fiber, they show aerobic respiration, whereas white muscle fiber, they show anaerobic respiration. Little or no lactic acid is produced in the red muscle fiber during energy production, whereas in white muscle fibers large amount of lactic acid is produced during strenuous work. Means hard work when person do, large amount of lactic acid is produced. These muscle fibers, red muscle fiber, they undergo contraction for long period, whereas white muscle fiber, they undergo for contraction for short period. So that's why these muscle fibers, red, they do not undergo fatigue with work, whereas white muscle fiber, they get fatigue with work. You can leave this point, but I am explaining. These red muscle fibers, they are innervated by thin, slow conducting nerve fibers, whereas the nerve fibers of the white muscle fibers are thick and fast conducting. For example, muscles of back, they are made up of red muscle fibers, whereas eyeball muscles, they are made up of white muscle fibers. That's why it is said that you should close your eyelid for some time when you are reading or you are watching the screen for long hours. Okay, and for example, in your legs and arms also white muscle fibers are produced. The amount of myoglobin and red muscle fibers, they are more in athletic person as compared to the non-athletic person. If the person exercise for longer period, then the oxygen content and myoglobin content of the muscles increases and they undergo aerobic respiration. If person do not go for exercises, then the red muscles are also converted into white muscle fibers. So more the exercise person do, more the white muscle fibers, they get converted into the red muscle fibers. Now the next topic is disorders of muscular and skeletal system. The first disorder is myasthenia gravis. Disorder is, I repeat again, myasthenia gravis. This disorder, myasthenia gravis, it is an autoimmune disorder. What do you mean by autoimmune? Means that is because of our immune system, disturbance in immune system which causes autoimmune disorder. And this autoimmune disorder, it causes some problem in the neuromuscular junction. In neuromuscular junction, the muscles, skeletal muscles, as you have already studied about the neuromuscular junction, that when the motor neuron, it gives the signal to the skeletal muscle. This is skeletal muscle and this is motor neuron. When this motor neuron, with the help of acetylcholine, it gives the signal to the skeletal muscle. The skeletal muscles, they are not able to pick up the signal. Acetylcholine is released, but there is some disturbance in this neuromuscular junction, due to which skeletal muscles are not able to pick up the signals which are sent by the motor neuron, due to which the skeletal muscles, they are not able to contract or they will not contract properly, and it causes fatigue, weakness in the skeletal muscles, and later on it can also lead to loss of skeletal muscles. Okay, now the next is muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy, in muscular dystrophy, it is a type of genetic disorder, and this myasthenia gravis, it was the autoimmune disorder. So it is a genetic disorder, muscular dystrophy. Dystrophy means loss. In the muscular dystrophy, there is a loss of skeletal muscles, due to which the skeletal muscles, they will not be able to perform their function, and it leads to the paralysis, and the person will become bedridden. So it is a genetic disorder. It means genes, there is some defect in the gene which is responsible for causing this disorder. Okay, and in both the disease, myasthenia gravis and muscular dystrophy, there is a loss of skeletal muscle, and difference is that in the myasthenia gravis there is some disturbance in the neuromuscular junction which lead to the loss, fatigue and weakening of the skeletal muscle, whereas in muscular dystrophy it is a genetic disorder. Genes are responsible for this disease and there is a loss of skeletal muscle. They will stop picking up the signals and will not able to perform their function. There will be loss of skeletal muscles and the person will become paralytic. Next is tetany. Tetany is known as the wild contraction of the muscle. What it is known as? Wild contraction of skeletal muscles. And when there is wild contraction of skeletal muscle, it means that the muscles, they remain in contracted state, they remain in the contraction phase for the longer time. They do not undergo relaxation. If the muscle, they remain in the contraction phase, they become stiff. And the tetany, one more reason for the tetany is that the low calcium ion. When there is low calcium ion in the blood plasma, it leads to the muscular tetany. Now, the next disorder is osteoporosis. Osteo word, it is related to bone. Porosis means pores. In this disorder, osteoporosis, the bones become weak. In the bones, there is loss of calcium ion, or simply you can say the bone density decreases. All of you have studied in your class 9 that calcium and phosphate compounds or calcium or phosphate salts, they are responsible for providing stiffness to the bones. If calcium is not deposited in bones and fibrous tissue is deposited, the bones, they become soft, and due to which the bones become fragile. The person become more prone to fractures, and the bone density, it decreases with age. Osteoporosis problem, it is more common in females as compared to male because with increasing age there is decreased level of estrogen, mainly in the females, those who are at the verge of menopause. Low level of estrogen in the blood, it also causes the release of calcium ion from the bones and it leads to the osteoporosis. Now, the last one is the gout. What do you mean by gout? Gout is the inflammation of the joint. It is a condition in which there is inflammation of the joints, and the inflammation of joints is due to deposition of uric acid in the joints. When there is large production of uric acid in the body, then this uric acid, if it is not released out, it's stored in the joints. So in the joints, uric acid is stored, and these uric acid crystals in the joints, they causes pain and inflammation. So the inflammation of joints occur and it causes painful movement. So this condition is known as gout. Next disorder is arthritis. Arthritis, it is also known as old age disorder. In this, inflammation of joint occurs. And what are the symptoms of arthritis? Pain and stiffness of joints. In arthritis, what happens that the long bones, their ends, they have the covering of cartilage. Their ends, they are covered by the cartilage and the main joints, like your elbow joint, knee joint. All of you have studied about the joints, that these are the synovial joints. They have the synovial fluid in them. With increase in age, synovial cavity, synovial fluid, it decreases. To decrease in the amount of synovial fluid in the joints, the bones, they come in contact with each other, and when they come in contact with each other, the cartilage, it gets teared. So wear and tear of cartilage take place, and now the bones, they come in contact with each other, and when the person moves, it causes pain. Okay, so pain occurs in the joint, and due to absence of synovial fluid, the inflammation of joint takes place, and it causes pain. So mainly synovial fluid, it is responsible, it provides lubrication to the joint, and it helps in the free movement of these joints like your elbow and knee joint. So when this fluid is absent with the increase in age, the bones, they come in contact with each other, there is tear of cartilage, and the bones, they come in contact, and they causes pain when the person moves. So that's why arthritis, it is known as old age disorder. So myasthenia gravis, it is an autoimmune disorder in which skeletal muscles becomes weak. Muscular dystrophy, it is a genetic disorder. In this also muscles, they become weak. Tetany, to low level of calcium in the blood plasma, and muscles, they undergo wild contraction, and the muscles, they do not return to their relaxed phase. Then next is osteoporosis, in which the bone density decreases due to loss of calcium ion from the bones, and the bones become fragile, they become more prone to fracture. Next is the gout. Gout is a condition or a disorder in which uric acid, it is in high amount in the blood, and it get deposited in the joints and result in inflammation of joint. With this, chapter 20 is complete. Thank you everyone.